Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of the Dynasty Trade Show here at Let's Talk Dynasty at the League FFB. Um, Look, the way I want to do this moving forward is you guys and anybody who is a fan of the show, anybody who's going to be in our free Discord channel, I have a completed trades tab. You'll post your completed trades in there. They got to be completed. I need to see trade accepted. I need to see, that type of stuff. No trade pending, no one-sided offers. I got to see that it's a completed trade. Um, but once it's posted in this channel, I will go in there. I will find those trades. I'll review some of these trades on a trade show. Uh, let's call it once, maybe twice a month. I'll go in there and I'll do a trade show. So without further ado, look, don't blame me, man. I look rough right now. The beard is long, the beard is raggedy, the hair is long, the hair is raggedy. I got an appointment with my barber for the first time since moving to New Jersey. On Monday, so things will get taken care of then. But until then, I just look like a mountain man. So, um, bear with me there. It will be a little sore on the eyes on the camera. I see it, but I'll make myself small so you guys don't have to deal with that. So, without further ado, let's get into this channel. I'm gonna pull that up so you guys can see it on the screen. You see, right here, man. Completed trades. It's in the League FFB Discord channel, free channel. Look, lots of cool stuff in here, man. General chat, fantasy football related tweets, player injuries, trade talk, roster strategy, league finders, betting chat, cool betting tools, all of that stuff. So if you want a fantasy football hub, you want a place where you can come in and talk football, join the League FFB Discord channel. It's going to be free. It's going to be linked in the description. So go ahead and go in there. But all of these are trades that I have posted in here. These are trades that have gone on in my leagues over the last 2 weeks. So I wanted to review these. As you guys join the channel, you see Marsh is already in here. As you guys join the channel, you're going to be able to post your own trades. So without further ado, let's get into this first trade right here. You see it on the screen, right? Tyson trades Miles Sanders and Trey Lance, or Tyson gets Miles Sanders and Trey Lance, trades away Dak Prescott in a 2024 third. Look, when I'm looking at a deal like this, normally I would want context, right? I'd want to know how many teams. I would want to know what are the scoring settings. I'd want to know what is your goal for the team. Are you rebuilding or are you a contender? I want to know one of those two things, right? So, I don't know that for everybody in these trades. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give my general opinion. I'm going to treat this as if I'm competing. And so, look, I like Trey Lance. I think he's a little bit undervalued in fantasy football right now. Miles Sanders is to me. I think he's solid. He's been a good guy, but he's a free agent this offseason. And I don't know if he's coming back to Philadelphia. So there is some unknown with Miles Sanders. So I look at it, you're taking a quarterback swap, Trey Lance for Dak Prescott. You definitely get younger going Trey Lance, but I think you take on a lot more risk. I personally have Dak Prescott as a top 10, top 12 at worst quarterback in Dynasty Fantasy Football. Trey Lance isn't in my top 10 or my top 12 right now. So I think you are downgrading your quarterback to get some extra piece and some extra depth there with Miles Sanders. You give up a third, but a third in 2024, that's nothing right now. Miles Sanders is more valuable than that. So I think you got to determine whether or not Miles Sanders is a good enough upgrade to downgrade from Dak Prescott. And to me, I think the trade is probably leans to a fair deal. But I want to go Dak Prescott over Trey Lance and Miles Sanders. The uncertainty of Miles Sanders and some of the uncertainty of Trey Lance, I'd rather just keep the safe, the reliable top 12 dynasty quarterback in Dak Prescott. And I'm going to take Dak Prescott on this side. But I don't fault anybody for going either way. If you are rebuilding, I see why you would take a chance on Trey Lance as a young asset. Top 3 draft capital. He's been hurt. We haven't seen it yet, but we know that quarterbacks can succeed in that offense. So good both ways, but I'm going to take the Dak Prescott side there. And that's what I'm going to end up going with. So let's go to our next trade here. Okay. Killer B. He gets Brandon Ayuk, AJ Dillon, and Dawson Knox. Tyson M702 gets Pat Frymuth, J.K. Dobbins, Hunter Renfrow, and Gus Edwards. So let's break this down, right? Two best assets in the deal, in my opinion, are Brandon Ayuk and probably J.K. Dobbins. Um, Gus Edwards is irrelevant in this deal to me because he's just a handcuff. I don't value him in this deal at all. Fryermuth, I am taking over Dawson Knox, and then AJ Dillon, I'm going to take over Hunter Renfro. Um, so that's how that's breaking down to me. I think I like Ayuk more than I like J.K. Dobbins. Overall, a solid deal, but yeah, I like Ayuk more than Dobbins. I like Fryermuth more than Knox, but I like Dillon more than Renfro. I'm gonna lean to Killer B side on this one. It's not a bad trade at all. I just think Brandon Ayuk is very undervalued in fantasy football. Um, unfortunately, he was moved in a couple of my leagues before I bought into it, but I've been looking into Brandon Ayuk, man, and I think he's a buy, dude. He's a good player, man. His route running is crazy. He's talented. I think you have a little bit of unknown with a QB change again, going from Jimmy G to Brock Purdy to Trey Lance is going to be a change, but um, I don't know, man. I think I lean the Brandon Ayuk side. I think he's the best player in the deal, and I don't know. Solid package though. I think if tight end was a need for Tyson, and running back was a need for Tyson, I would I would see the argument of going to get Fryermuth because I think Fryermuth is a lot better of a tight end than Dawson Knox. So yeah, I think it's a fair deal. I'm gonna lean Brandon Ayuk and AJ Dillon on this trade, but not a bad deal for Tyson either. Here's a small one, quick. Tyson gets Elijah Moore, Shane gets Ezekiel Elliott. Look, um, I'm gonna take Elijah Moore. I know Zeke is undervalued probably for what he does, but Zeke's just it's it's an asset that continues to just get worse and worse every year. His value is only going down. It's never going to go up. Elijah Moore's value could skyrocket, especially if somebody goes to New York like Aaron Rodgers or something like that. You could see a guy like Elijah Moore's value really take a valuable increase. So I think it's a good buy low on Tyson. He's shipping off an asset that probably isn't going to get any better. I mean, he's a good fill-in for a year for a team that's going to compete in Ezekiel Elliott, but I think I like the buy on Elijah Moore. He's an undervalued asset in fantasy right now. He's definitely buying low, and there could be a significant price increase for Elijah moving forward. And I liked Elijah as a prospect. I thought he was a top 5 wide receiver in his own class. Um, you know, got Garrett Wilson on the other side this year, and Garrett Wilson's a stud. The best wide receiver in his class, in my opinion. Had him as the best coming out. I think he's the best now. He solidified it. Probably should win Offensive Rookie of the Year this year. But Elijah Moore's good, man. He's a good football player, and you get him a good quarterback that can distribute the rock, and you're gonna get a value increase for Elijah Moore. So I like it. I like the getting younger. I like the upside. Um, just don't like buying Ezekiel Elliott right now at this point in his career. Here's our next one. Tyson's been active in the trade rooms, man. So Tyson gets Jamal Williams, Kadarius Toney in the 310. He trades away Treylon Burks in the 410. And this is going to be one of those trades where I think I'm really against trading Treylon Burks, man. I think Treylon, look, he was a first round rookie pick in this year's class for most of us. First round draft capital. He was hurt a lot of the year, so the value's down. But I think we just saw the best year Jamal Williams will ever have. So Vegas Sinatra is selling high here. Kadarius Toney, I don't know what to make of Kadarius Toney at this point. I mean, he's going to be on the Chiefs moving forward, but he just seems like I don't know, he's unreliable. He's kind of a bench play most weeks. So you move back one round or you move up one round with that 410 to the 310. Is it worth it? Probably not. I'm gonna lean the Treylon Burks side. I think Treylon, we need to be patient with Treylon moving forward. I think we need to give him another year. Let's see what he has. He's shown flashes, man. He had a couple good games this year. He had a good college tape, good draft capital. I'm leaning Treylon Burks here. I'm gonna keep him, man. I don't want to buy Jamal Williams and Kadarius Toney for Treylon right now. So I'm going to lean Sinatra on that trade. Here's another one. Showstopper and Ragnar. You see the deal. It's 209 and 207 for Cam Akers, Ryan Tannehill, and Tyler Boyd. I know the context of this. I know it's a super flex league. So in a super flex league, I'm likely going to lean getting a quarterback for 2 late seconds, especially when I can get Cam Akers in it. Cam Akers was an interesting um, player this season. I'm personally not a big Cam Akers fan, but I understand the value of Cam Akers, and I understand that towards the end of the last season there, he was getting a lot of work, and they were using him a lot, and I would assume that they're going to continue to do so. They moved on from Darrell Henderson. Um, I don't expect them to address running back in the draft at all. They don't have a ton of draft picks. I don't expect them to go in and pay a running back. Maybe they bring somebody in to back up Akers and really be a piece to help him in that running back room, but I don't see Cam Akers being replaced this offseason, and I think he's a good solid buy right now. 209 and 207, it just doesn't do it for me to get rid of a guy like Tannehill and Akers. I think if you're rebuilding and you're blowing it up, you go for the picks, but if you are competing or you're in any way close to competing, I'm taking Cam Akers and I'm taking Tannehill over that 207, that 209 every time, because you're just not going to find a quarterback replacement with that 207 or that 209. And running backs, once you get down there, you're taking dart shots. And Cam Akers showed a little bit at the end of last year. I might just move with it. And I'm not even talking about Tyler Boyd, right? Tyler Boyd is a solid player. I think you plug him into your flex when you need him on bye weeks and things like that. But, with Higgins and Chase on the other side, you're not really relying on Tyler Boyd, but he's a decent piece you can throw in, add a little depth to your roster. And maybe if Chase or Higgins goes down, Boyd is valuable and you can flip him at that point. But I'm going to lean the Cam Akers and the Tannehill side. It's not a terrible trade, especially if you're rebuilding, but I'm taking Tannehill and Akers over those 2 late seconds. Here's another small one. 2024 fourth for Jameis Winston, Tyson, and rookie in the vet. Um, it's simple for me, man. I'm taking Jameis Winston. Anytime I can potentially get a starting quarterback in a super flex league for cheap, especially a 2024 fourth cheap. We're talking about these guys usually are on waiver wires with 24 fourths, fifths. Those guys are guys that some of them are UDFAs like after a rookie draft. So I'm gonna take a guy like Jameis Winston. There's a handful of quarterback rooms that could see some changes this offseason. Jameis Winston would be a guy that would possibly be in those conversations. I'm just going to take the shot, man. I like the shot of Winston over the fourth round pick, especially in those super flex leagues. Here's another one. Barabaldi and the showstopper. You see it, Donovan Peoples-Jones for James Conner. It's pretty simple, pretty easy trade. I personally am going to say I lean James Conner in this deal. It's a fair deal, I think. Donovan Peoples-Jones is fine. I don't think he's special. And I think that if given the opportunity to upgrade their wide receiver in Cleveland, Donovan would be one of the first people that they would look to upgrade from. I think they'd rather have somebody else play that 2 next to Amari Cooper than they would Donovan Peoples-Jones. But James Conner, he has a fully guaranteed contract this offseason. The Cardinals probably look to bring somebody in to be his replacement. Injury concerns have always been the issue with James Conner. But as far as a volume usage and a 1-year competitive buy, I like James Conner, especially at this price tag. So I'm going to lean James Conner in this deal. Then we got our last 2 trades here. You see this one, showstopper again with Sugar Shane. This is a big deal for the most part. You get Javonte Williams and the 107 involved in the deal, and people's eyes. I mean, you see the fire emojis. People start to get intrigued. So here's my thing, man. I think the 107 is good value for Javonte. I don't think it's a bad trade. What I don't love doing is you're trading a young running back asset for a shot at a young asset and likely a position of need where it's gonna be, let's see, in this year's class, you're gonna probably have guys like Bryce, Stroud, Levis off the board. You're gonna have guys like JSN, Gibbs, and Bijan off the board. So you're looking at like a Addison, a Quentin Johnston, right here at this pick. So you got to think of it that way. Do you like a Jordan Addison or Quentin Johnston more than you like a Javonte Williams moving forward? Possibly. It just depends. Javonte had a nasty injury this year, and I don't know if he's going to be ready even the first month of football. It could be a little bit longer by the time he's ready. It's similar to that Dobbins injury that we had, and you saw Dobbins, man. He wasn't really running again and really looking decent until like the last couple weeks of the season. So Javonte, I love Javonte Williams. Don't get me wrong. I loved him coming out. He was my favorite running back in the entire class. I liked him more than Najee. Um, Solid player. I think it's a decent buy on Javonte Williams. Right now, if you can buy Javonte Williams low, I like it. Especially if you're a competitor that needs to load up on, younger running backs and things like that. I'm in a position where I need to do that in a league. I love that move. If you can sell Javonte Williams, I don't know if I'm selling for the 107, but if you can get anywhere closer and possibly get into a position where you could get a JSN or a Jahmyr Gibbs for Javonte Williams, I might consider selling. Because look, running back short or shelf life is just so short. I don't really. It's just the most fluid position on my roster, right? Like they're coming in, they're coming out every year, and I don't hold on to them too long. I just want to, get 1 to 2 years out of them, maybe 3 years if they're really good out of a running back, and then they're out of here, man. Like I'm not keeping them for too long. And Javonte, we're now the rookie year this year, and we're going into year 3. And this year it might be a rough season because he's coming off of that injury. So then we're into the last year of his rookie contract. I don't know, man. It's not a bad trade. I think I see it from both sides. But that's really my 2 cents. I think if I'm really going for it though, for this value, I'm probably going to keep Javonte over the 107, but it's a good trade. It's a really good trade, and it really does depend on where your team is at and what your roster is looking like. And here's the last trade of the video. You see it here. It's Showstopper again and Fumble Butt. James Cook for the 206. Honestly, I'm going to lean James Cook in this deal because if I'm taking a shot on a young running back for a pick 206 that likely this year is going to be a young running back or somebody like that, right? I'm just going to take James Cook, man. He looked solid last year with the Bills. He's in a good offense. He had good draft capital, good pedigree, brother Dalvin Cook. He played well at Georgia. And then at the end of the day, like he was getting more and more worked into the offense in Buffalo going into the end of the season. And Devin Singletary is a free agent. I don't think they bring Devin Singletary back. I really don't think that they would. If they do, I would look at this deal differently, but my expectation is Singletary is not on the roster. James Cook is the starter going into week 1. And I like James Cook, man. I would rather have James Cook than this 206. So I'm going to lean that way. But if you're just offloading just to tank and get draft capital and become more fluid with your roster, I understand it. It's not terrible value for James Cook. I think James Cook is probably more valued in that like early second round range, and you're getting him for a mid right here, mid to late ish as you go further down. But I like James Cook here, man. I'm going to take James Cook in this trade. So, anyways, that is all the trades that I have in here. Let me make this. Let me close this out and make this full screen so I can talk to y'all for a second. But yeah, that is the Dynasty Trade Show, man. Like I said, I want to do it once or twice a month. We're about 20 minutes in right now. That's all they're going to be. They're going to be quick YouTube videos. But if you want me to review your trade, go to the Discord in the description, join it, post your completed trades in there, and I will be reviewing them for you. it's just good, man. It's good to look at trades, look at rosters, get opinions, form opinions. It's not a bad process. So agree with me or don't. It's up to you. If you disagree with me, tell me in the comments below. Let me know what you would how you would review those trades. I'd love the engagement. I'd love the talk. And more videos coming soon, live stream coming soon, and haircut and beard trim coming soon. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for letting me talk Dynasty with you today. I will see you in the next video. Peace out.